Caterpillars here, caterpillars there, caterpillars everywhere. This world is full of strange and unusual creatures named caterpillars. They have many shapes, many forms and many colors. I've always been fascinated by them. Today we are going to look for caterpillars in the wild. That's right, wild ones from my garden or backyard or local environment. And we are going to raise them into butterflies and moths together. Guys, on a summer's day I can usually find things here on these stinging nettles. Yes, several times.
Okay guys, please forgive me for being shirtless on YouTube. I know it's a bit shameless, but I was working in my garden and it's hot outside, so I can't be arsed to dress myself. But I happened to find something here in the vegetation. I'm holding it here in my hand, and this is what I want to show you. Can you see it?
This is our first victim, a mysterious species of caterpillar. What species do you guys think it is? We start this video off in the Netherlands, my home country. Here's a hint. It is a common species of butterfly. Their larvae feed on stinging nettle, and it is very easily reared in captivity.
Stinging nettles are usually packages full of fun. Let's rear this one.
Just 1 week later the caterpillar had already pupated. Feeding it leaves of stinging nettle, it became a chrysalis sooner than expected. So cool. This looks familiar. Do you guys recognize it? I do, but I'm gonna keep it a little surprise for you all. In just 2 weeks we will see the butterfly, so that should be quite exciting.
Two weeks later it turned into a wonderful butterfly. Alright people, it turns out that our baby is a red admiral butterfly. These butterflies are really beautiful. Oh yes. Exactly, that's what we want to see. Oh, you are a beauty. And you're famous because you're in a free breeding episode. My online web series in which I raise wild caterpillars to moths and butterflies. That's a nice surprise to see you, my friend. Beautiful red admiral from the wild. How can you not love a species like this one? Now the butterfly is very fresh, so it is not flying away yet, but I think in any moment it can fly away. Yeah, just like I said, there it goes. Bye bye, friend.
So many species on stinging nettles. Think about that before you see them as a pest or a nuisance.
Ladies and gentlemen, so recently I was walking through my garden. I found myself a really cool caterpillar. And I'm like, that's perfect for my free breeding series. Let me show it to you.
The second species. Let's go! Are you enjoying this new style of video? If so, leave a comment. I found this one on stinging nettle once again. It's a crooked caterpillar with a strange hunched back. I hope I can rear it into a moth. Honestly, this feels like playing Pokemon for some reason. It's so fun to explore the amazing diversity of these little creatures.
Well, our mysterious caterpillar has pupated. Now we just have to wait for it to turn into a moth somehow. See if that will happen.
I'll show you what moth it turns into. Let me show you what moth it has turned into. Alright folks, here's just a first impression. It's still drying its wings. Give it some time. This species is called the spectacle or Abrostrola tripartita. It does look spectacular. What a cute insect! It's very common and apparently found all over Europe and Russia. The caterpillars feed on, surprise surprise, stinging nettle plants. So many species on stinging nettles. I have another larva to show as well. Oh look, this is our next victim. Quick guys, get me the rohypnol, a drink and some duct tape. Because I'm taking this cutie home. It's so obviously exposed while sitting on a nettle leaf. So now I'm curious, what moth will it become? Welcome to this episode of Free Breeding. Just found a wild caterpillar in my garden. Did not raise this, it's a completely wild specimen. And we are going to investigate it and see what species it is that we have here. How interesting. Wild caterpillar. Well, it sure pupated quickly, let's incubate it. And then guys, I got a silly creature with a really long snout. This thing right here is called the snout. I don't have to explain why it's called that way, I hope. Hypena proboscidalis, or the snout, is widespread from Europe into Asia all the way into Japan. It is found in virtually any humid place and it has a giant schnauzer. You schnoopity schmoop. Lots of caterpillars here in my own backyard, and I am rearing them for you on YouTube. And once upon a time I saw a really hairy caterpillar just crawling here through the backyard, and you won't believe what happened when I reared it. Well, what do we have here? A little caterpillar crossing the road, eh? Is that illegal? Yep. It is when Bart Coppens, the sexy moth king himself, is around. This caterpillar just wandered into the wrong territory. Or perhaps the right territory, depending on who you ask. I don't get that many wild caterpillars where I live, but once in a while I see them. So I thought, this is gonna be a good opportunity for a free breeding episode. You know? Should I spoil it? I already know what this is. And most of my viewers already know. If you watch my videos, you've seen me raise this. You've seen me raise hundreds of this, in fact. So, yeah, I'm gonna adopt it. Hey friend, don't be shy. Yeah, they curl up into a ball when they feel stressed. Sorry for touching you, little buddy. But you're gonna be adopted and you have no choice. Thing is, I have free shelter for you, free food, and protection from predators. Will you take the deal? If I was a moth, I'd be pretty excited about this deal. You have a container with brambles and some dandelion. This species, of which I already know what species it is, but my viewers don't, so I'm gonna keep it a little secret. Likes to eat a lot of plants like dandelion, cherry, bramble. So a little container with some leaves should be enough to raise this mystery little beast. There you go. Pew, pow, pow. Check back later. And then it cocooned. Hey folks, well, this caterpillar from my backyard has pupated. And now it's become a waiting game. In case y'all don't know,
Here is the cocoon that it spun. Now I'm just gonna give you here a big fat massive spoiler about the species that it is. Because I can't keep it for myself, folks. It's so obvious. This is the garden tiger moth, Arctiacaya. Alright. And we've seen this species on my channel. I've actually done a video where I raised a shitload of them. I think we had like 70 freaking caterpillars of them in one video. Oh, there was a mosquito that was just trying to bite me. That's great. Thanks for your cameo, you sucker. Anyway, this the good news is this species, like, they can really come out of the pupa in like 2 or 3 weeks time. Very short time. So I'm just gonna leave it in here in the little paper towel, you know. Give it a soft little place to sit. Just add it a stick so it can climb up and inflate its wings. Then we're gonna wait. I think 2-3 weeks later we're gonna have our moth. The moth it turned into was one of the most beautiful and spectacular species that are found in my country. Let me show you what happened. Well, folks. The caterpillar that we found is metamorphosized into a moth. And I just want to show you because it's something really incredible. So yeah, that hairy little beastie, that hairy little thing, became an incredible moth. And first I'd like to just get it here on a stick before we have a closer look at it. So what is it? What is it? Okay. First let's make it sit still. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Oh my god. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the garden tiger moth, Arctiacaya. A lovely and wonderful moth species. Here's a fun fact: they used to be very common about 50 years ago, about in the gardens, parks and suburbs. But nowadays it's actually very rare to just casually encounter them like that. I wouldn't say that the species is endangered yet, but if this continues, it's definitely getting there. Probably the coolest species so far in this free breeding episode, although that's a bit subjective, but this is one of my favorites. And what's really cool about these moths is that each individual moth has a different pattern. These spots that they have they are random. Every individual has different random spots. That makes the species really kind of unique. Hello, garden tiger. Have you guys ever seen a garden tiger moth in the wild? And if so, leave a comment. I would love to know. I believe they are not only found in Europe, but also parts of Asia and even the American continent. Wonderful. Can you believe that hairy thing just became this? That's amazing. Oh, relax, buddy. Relax, buddy. She's a bit camera shy. If you want him to open the wings, you have to tap the thorax. It's a defensive mechanism, don't worry guys. This is not going to hurt it. 3, 2, 1, tap. See? In response to being touched there, they flash their red hind wings. And here's a fun fact: the species is actually mildly poisonous. So it has this color display for a good reason. It's warning birds and other predators basically not to eat it, because they'll get sick if they do. It's pretty neat, huh? Amazing! This is how you just can raise random caterpillars from the environment to get the most random species that you won't expect. Hey, so this is Arctiacaya, widespread in Europe and temperate Asia. A really cool find on my property. I do love them. They're like the cows or ladybugs of the world.
They are the true Borzhaia korovka, if you ask me. Most excellent. They deserve the name much more. So yes, a garden tiger moth, folks. That's very unexpected and amazing. Collecting caterpillars in your local environment and raising them is a great way to see many moth species that you otherwise would rarely encounter. A lot of moths have a hidden lifestyle, but their larvae are easier to find in many cases. Now on to the next species that I've raised. I have another larva to show as well. Here in my garden I also have hazel. To my surprise, I found a caterpillar on it as well. Hey guys, I just found some caterpillars in my own garden. Whoop. Since I'm the sexy moth king himself, I'm not gonna let it go. These caterpillars are gonna be mine. Oh yeah, they're gonna be mine. A very dead giveaway is... there we go. Is leaves like this who have feeling damage. So this is another addition for the sexy moth king. Yeah, these leaves have been eaten. And we see the culprit. They are guilty. You've been eating my leaves. Hello. So these random green caterpillars are gonna be part of this free breeding video, where we just raise random caterpillars from the environment that I found. They look cute. They look cute. I wonder what they are. Do you wonder? I wonder. What species are they going to be? That's really cool, isn't it? From my own backyard, from my own garden. Cool insects are something you can find anywhere, guys, even in parks, gardens, if you look hard enough. If you like moths and butterflies, you never have a reason to be sad. You can be happy almost anywhere. Because it's so easy to find them in many places. Look at that. Wonderful little creatures. So place your bets, guys. Place your bets. This is gonna be some nice caterpillar rearing from the Netherlands. Right. We shall see. Got some leaves here. And we're gonna see what kind of moths these become. There you go. Folks, let's see how my mystery babies from my own backyard are doing. Oh. Alrighty then. Still caterpillar, I see. But it is a very pretty caterpillar. I really wonder what it's gonna be. Just look at them. You're watching a really special episode. It's called Free Breeding. Just rearing random caterpillars from the environment, which is a new concept. I haven't really made a video like this before. So I'm hoping that all y'all moth fans will love it. I did see something else. One of the other caterpillars has made a cocoon. So that means one of them has cocooned. So this whitey thing that spun inside of a leaf here is the cocoon of the first species. I don't know how long it's gonna take for it to transform into a moth. But at least it's something. Right? Let's hope it's something my fans will appreciate. Sexy Moth King is out here working for you. Filming all these little creatures for you. Stay tuned. And it turned into an awesome green moth. Ooh, ladies and gentlemen, I got good news and bad news. The good news is the caterpillar that made a cocoon has transformed into a moth. But the bad news is its brother, the second caterpillar, didn't make it for some reason. I don't know why. May have been sick or diseased. And another bad news is I'm being assaulted here by freaking mosquitoes. Ugh. Go away. Now I believe that this insect I found in my backyard has a name. Let's carefully show you because this species really likes to fly away quickly. We gotta be real careful. Oh dear. Please don't fly away. I was surprised to find out that it's actually something really beautiful. Now I believe this one is called Pseudo-Ipsprasina, known as the silver green lines moth. Remember the name, folks, silver green lines. And it is of the family Knowlidae, of which I don't think I've ever reared a species on YouTube publicly. In the rainforest in Uganda I found some weird Knowlidae moths and I raised them, but I forgot to film it, so even though it's not my first time raising them, it's my first time filming it. This time from my own backyard. Huh. Oops. Even cooler is it seems to have pink legs. Unfortunately it's late in the evening so the colors are distorted. I may want to film this insect tomorrow again in daylight. But I wanted to get it on camera now, just to be sure. The silver green lines.
The silver green lines, or Pseudo-Ipsprasinana, is one curious little moth. Larvae feed on beech, oak tree and birch most of the time. It flies in woody areas. Pseudo-Ipsprasinanus is widely distributed across Europe and extends to Japan. What a cutie that is.
Since I only raised one of them, there's not gonna be any breeding. I'm probably gonna release it back into nature tomorrow. Why tomorrow? Because right now it's very late in the evening and this is distorting the colors of my camera. As you can see, everything looks a bit grey bluish because the sun is going down. It's very late here. So, and tomorrow when the sun is shining I may get more of its really cool green color out on camera. It doesn't really show. Then I'm gonna release it since there's only one. It's an awesome species though. Really cool. Are you guys liking this new series? Folks, the next day. Little bit more daylight. It is evening, but let's do this carefully. This thing wants to fly away probably. Where are you? Oh! It already wants to fly. This is gonna be tricky. It's gonna fly away, guys. Sorry. It is way too active. Yeah, there it goes. Oh. Oh my god, it's sitting still. It's sitting still. Please don't fly. No! Let me show you some more close-ups. I was lucky because it did in fact fly away, but I managed to track it down and place it back on its original leaf. Well, that's cool, isn't it? That's really cool. Let's see if it wants to sit on my finger. It does. I'm shocked. Not wanting to fly away anymore, huh? It's drinking. Very camouflaged little mothy. Yeah, we can still see you, buddy. Sorry if my hands are a bit shaky, guys. It's hard, because it's a small species. So it needs a lot of zoom. Anyway, remember the name silver green lines. Pseudo-Ipsprasina, not very rare of a species, but very cool. Whoop, and it's gone. Time to release her into the wild. Farewell. Fly away. Fly away, little one. You have it in you. Come on. Go. Go. I know I'm really adorable and sexy, but you have to leave. Fly. I'm gonna miss you. Next species. These were just some of the caterpillars I found in my own country, the Netherlands. But I visit other countries too. Sometimes I travel to document butterflies and moths and their life cycles. And it just so happens that I have worked for a while in a country called Brazil. It's a very big country in South America. And here I was rearing caterpillars in the Atlantic rainforest in the state of Rio de Janeiro. The biodiversity and animals you can encounter here are just incredible. And from this point in the video and beyond, let me show you what I managed to raise in Brazil in terms of local species. One of the first things that I often find in southeast Brazil is something crazy called the monkey slug caterpillar. And I tried to rear them in captivity. And let me show you what happened.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this tree I just found a really bizarre caterpillar that I always wanted to see. Ladies and gentlemen, this bizarre creature right here is what is called a monkey slug caterpillar. Found an alien. Look at it, ladies and gentlemen, what's this? That's freaky, isn't it? Believe it or not, this is the monkey slug caterpillar turned upside down. And what's funny is the underside, you have to be careful because it actually has toxic hairs on its side. But it's the underside kind of looks like a slug. And that's how this species got the name the monkey slug caterpillar. Can you see that? Wow. Look at how it's pulsing. It's actually capable of turning itself around if it really wants to. But we should really be careful because it's sad they have a painful sting. Personally, I'm not very eager to get stung. As you can see. Wow. It is capable of moving and eventually turning itself around, even though it's being a bit lazy about it right now. So instead of having legs, the prolegs of this caterpillar are pretty much reduced to kind of suction cups on the underside. It does remind you of a snail or a slug. If we do this, we can see it kind of can attach itself to my finger using the underside. And there you go. If we turn it around, we can see that it's moving. What a strange creature. Ladies and gentlemen, what the heck is this? That's so freaky, isn't it? This is a monkey slug caterpillar. And these strange caterpillars can be common in some places in South America, such as Brazil, where I'm filming this right now. So what's really interesting is this caterpillar has hairs that are modified and they almost form like a wig that's over its back. It's almost like a carpet and it has tentacle-like projections. Some people say this makes them imitate spiders, that it could be a form of mimicry so that predators leave them alone. It's definitely possible, but I do think it needs more research. It's very easy to call something mimicry because it looks similar, but it's actually hard to confirm. And I do believe in evidence. I do believe when we make claims of mimicry, we should prove that there's actually mimicry going on. Anyway, it does resemble superficially a spider. Whether or not it's mimicry is up to debate, and I just turn it around. And on the underside, this caterpillar is very strange because its legs have been reduced and have kind of evolved into suction cups. almost like a snail, and that's why it's called the slug or the monkey slug caterpillar. It's one of the many slug caterpillars. They're easy to recognize because their underside is sticky, and if I touch it, it will attach itself to my finger just like that. It really is like a suction cup. So interesting, so strange.
Whoa, so this is the legendary monkey slug caterpillar. They're actually somewhat common here in southeast Brazil. They are from the Limacodidae or the slug moth family. What a lot of people assume are fleshy tentacles are in reality hair structures. In fact, it's like the caterpillar is wearing a wig. The wig is even detachable, you can pull it off easily, revealing a naked caterpillar. Now this could be a defense mechanism, allowing the larva to get away while leaving behind its odd-looking hair. Some people suggest it resembles a spider or tarantula mold too, but who knows why they evolved to look like this really. I could come up with several theories on that. They are variable, and there's also a brown form in the area. Yeah, it's the same species, just color variation. Let's take it to the laboratory for rearing.
Let's see if we can raise it in captivity. It would be really cool. Well, there we go, monkey slug. Let's see if I can rear it in captivity. I'll put it in a tiny jar. I need to find a bigger enclosure for it. I'm just taking it to the laboratory, because I'm actually here to study butterflies and moths and their life cycles, so this would be a good sample to take for my studies. So cool, huh?
I decided to rear it in a plastic box with leaves of orange tree. They seem to like citrus a lot, and also avocado leaves. Let's see if we can raise this thing into a moth.
And then it cocooned. Thankfully, it didn't take too long for the moths to come out.
Wow, I determined this species to be Phobeton hipparchia. It is found in Mexico, Panama, Ecuador, Colombia, Venezuela, the Guyanas, Brazil and Argentina. It seems common and super polyphagous and widespread in tropical rainforest and woody areas in South America and Central America. They can eat many types of plant. Some say the caterpillar is venomous, but I didn't feel anything when I handled it. Sadly, the moths have a really short life of just a few days. They only live for a handful of days, and their markings are art, if you ask me. Whew, so beautiful. I did release it back into nature.
I really love raising caterpillars in a tropical rainforest, because the diversity there is so high. You never know what you're going to find and encounter. And some of the most dull-looking caterpillars can turn into the most conspicuous moths and butterflies. Speaking of that, the next one will be really charming, because I reared one of the most glittery butterflies in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, I am breeding my dream butterfly. My name is Bart Coppens and I'm studying the life cycles of butterflies and moths in southeastern Brazil. And today I have the caterpillars of a spectacular butterfly I always wanted to see. Let me show you.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the Brazilian rainforest I found caterpillars of one of my dream butterfly species. So they're eating a species of nettle tree, also known as Celtis. And they're super well hidden, so even if I open the container, there is no guarantee that I'm going to find the little bastards. Let's see. Oh my. Ah! Here it is, guys. Here it is. Now, you guys may think, oh, this larva is not very interesting. It's not very special looking, but trust me, the butterfly that's going to turn into is going to be more than special. Oh, that's fantastic. So this is a species of Caria. And I'll show you the kind of butterflies that they turn into later. And they make little shelters in the leaves of the Celtis, the nettle tree. This is my first time holding a rhodinid, a metalmark larva. They're very hairy. They kind of look like leopard moths if you use your imagination. Isn't that just fantastic? Oh, that's great, bro. And I'm going to be over the moon if I manage to turn these into butterflies somehow. There should be several of them in here right now. I have 2 containers. And in each larva, in each container is 1 larva, yeah? So here's another one, I think. So they make these little shelters, can you see it? They roll up the leaf and they actually eat little holes in it. As you can see, the other larva is living in here. It's very well hidden. I'm not gonna show it because it's sitting in its little house that it's built. So these are going to be the rearing of my dream butterfly. So then we're gonna check back a few
days later.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Caria are a dream butterfly of mine, a dream butterfly. And they have just pupated, so it's time for me to show you what pupa look like. But you must be very careful. Ask you a question, how many people have raised this butterfly species? Well, there's not an awful lot of them. Anyway, I'm hoping my camera will focus a bit. Now we see here this little leaf. They kind of curl up the leaf before they pupate. They roll it up like a joint almost. So very carefully. You see that? So this, it looks a bit silly. It's white. It looks almost like a maggot. That's how I would really describe it. Like almost like a fly maggot, really. Strange description, but very accurate if you know what I mean. So this milky white, strange shaped pupa here is the pupa of a legendary Caria butterfly. These butterflies are really incredible. I've raised exactly 2 larvae, just 2 of them. So there you go. The other pupa. Here's the other pupa. As you can see, they have quite silly bumps on their thorax. See, there's odd bumps. Now, I am not sure how many days it will take them to transform into a butterfly, but it's not going to take very long, especially not for a tiny species of butterfly like this in the tropical heat of Brazil. So I'm gonna put them back, and one day we're going to see 2 legendary butterflies just appear. Before that, I probably have to replace the leaf litter with sticks or something, because these leaves are gonna rot over time. I don't want them to become moldy, but we'll see. Well, ladies and gentlemen, one of the butterflies is hatched.
Days later.
But before I film it, I will place it in the bigger enclosure here. There's another moth in it, but I hope that won't be an issue. Let's release the butterfly here first, so it doesn't harm itself. Well, wow, it's beautiful, guys.
Ooh, wow, now that is a beautiful butterfly. So what is it? This is Caria castalia, a tropical species of metalmark butterfly. They have very powerful green glitter. Unfortunately, they flutter a lot in the container, resulting in damage on their wings. I was not able to keep them in a perfect condition for long. Next time I should use a bigger enclosure. Despite that, it is still very special to be able to film these animals up close. Not many people have ever raised them in captivity. This rare butterfly has a fragmented distribution in Peru, Bolivia and Brazil, both the Amazon and the Atlantic rainforest, and in small parts of Argentina. It is found from sea level to about 900 meters in altitude and has a fast, erratic flight, making it hard to follow and photograph. The best known plant that it uses to complete its life cycle is Celtis, or nettle tree, from the Cannabaceae family. In some occasions they can also be found mud puddling and drinking minerals from wet sand or mud. They belong to an unusual butterfly family, the Rhyodinidae or the metalmarks. These butterflies can be very colorful, with shiny and metallic colors. This is why they are called metalmarks after all. There are many species of them in Brazil, as you can see. I can film more butterfly life cycles too in the future, but I need your help. YouTube demonetized me entirely, permanently and completely, so if you like the show, consider supporting me on Patreon. These butterflies were released in the wild after the production of this video. They were raised in captivity for entertainment and educational purposes, to show the beauty and diversity of insects with the world. I hope you are satisfied. Subscribe to see more rare butterflies. I have another larva to show as well. What I found here in the rainforest, a horny caterpillar. It's almost as horny as me. Yeah, message me on Instagram. Sorry, I'm unhinged today. Jokes aside, it is a perfect opportunity for me to rear it in a laboratory to see what pops out. I can tell by the morphology it's going to be a butterfly of some kind, and my suspicions were right, since it turned into a butterfly chrysalis.
Alright folks, our butterfly has hatched. You've seen the larva, you've seen the pupa. Oh, it's trying to fly. Well, that's what they do. Yeah, I have my own website as well. This one just emerged. Need to get a good video of it. Yeah, they're very annoying to work with sometimes. So, it's not in the mood to be filmed. Butterflies and moths, they're unknown. A lot of scientists, they look at the butterfly or the moth, but they don't look at the life cycle. And it's very simple but very important information. You have to know what the caterpillars eat, etc. if you want to conserve a species. So that's just the issue. Whoop, there it goes. Yeah. Well, at the moment not much, because most of them recently pupated, and there's some caterpillars. I used to have more, but they turned all into moths recently. Come on, little buddy.
And how long do they live?
Well, this one will live for a few months. This species of butterfly is known as the tomato. And it's... Whoop! Ladies and gentlemen, this is Temmenis lauto. And it is also known as the tomato butterfly. So why is it called the tomato, you ask? Well, it's not hard to figure out, because this butterfly is kinda bright orange. Which makes no sense, because actual tomatoes are red, but don't ask me about that. Some individuals actually are more bright orange than this one. This one seems to be rather yellow for a Temmenis lauto, but there you go. I raised it from the very same caterpillar you just... Oops, I made it fly away. Thankfully it landed on my shirt. Let me bring it back. I reared it from the... Yeah, that's the problem with butterflies.
Turns out it was a butterfly named the tomato or Temenes laoto. It is very widespread, all the way from Mexico to Brazil and Bolivia. Interestingly, it has many subspecies, and in some places it has a color form that is bright blue and orange. But not in my location, I do suppose. It is, however, a fantastic butterfly to encounter and rear. What a great little creature! Have you ever seen this species before? I bet you didn't. Amazing.
I would like to remind you guys, if you are enjoying the show, my YouTube channel is completely and permanently demonetized. If you like what I do and if you appreciate my videos, consider signing up to my Patreon for as little as $1. It really helps me make more of these videos. The next species really had a crazy and insane caterpillar, and you'll probably be very excited to see this butterfly. It is probably my favorite butterfly in Southeast Brazil. It's hard to choose though, there's so many beautiful ones.
I usually like to keep the species as a surprise in this series, because then it's extra fun when the butterfly or moth hatches to see what hatched from our caterpillars, you know, it's like a random surprise, you know. However, today I'm going to give a spoiler alert. I'm going to spoil what species this is, because this is the 88 butterfly, Diatria climene. Why did I just spoil that? Didn't I want to keep it a surprise for my viewers? Well, I'm so excited for this species, I just had to say it, because this is an awesome butterfly. So the fact that I get to rear it is even more awesome. Caterpillars of these, by the way, in this part of Brazil are so easy to find. This is a very common species. You can see on the trema trees, which is the host plant. And look at those cute horns on its head. It's awesome. It is quite charismatic, isn't it? It's like it has these weird antlers. What a cute little beast. Wow. Just found a little caterpillar in the rainforest that looks like it has antlers. Amazing. I was feeding it on a plant named trema, and I've decided I'm gonna rear it in captivity. Yeehaw! I could already tell from the morphology this was going to be a species of butterfly for sure. I think my viewers are gonna love this one. Wow. It turned into what is called the
And then it turned into one of the most colorful butterflies that I have literally ever seen. Like nothing tops this.
88 butterfly, also known as Diatria climene. It is a common species in Regua. I never expected to raise these in my lifetime. It is found from Mexico to Peru and Brazil. Both the underside and the upper side are breathtakingly, insanely, amazingly gorgeous. Just look at the iridescent blue and black on top and hypnotizing patterns on the bottom. It blows my mind away. They are found in woody, humid, forested areas. Gosh, just admire it for a moment, alright?
Yeah, in terms of color, it's hard to beat that. The next one will maybe be a little bit more dull, but not less interesting.
Unfortunately, this wild caterpillar was covered with some unknown type of parasite. I think they may be mites. Yikes, that doesn't look great. Hope it can develop into a butterfly nonetheless. I put it in a plastic box with some grasses and I hoped it would work out, hopefully. What a strange and fat little fella. Eventually it pupated and even spun a cocoon-like thing. Now the waiting game begins. The butterfly came out just fine. While it does have one slightly broken hind wing tail, considering how it was covered with parasites, I don't think that's the worst thing that could have happened. At least it will still have a happy and healthy life when I release it. I think the species I've just reared is called Spicauda purogne, a somewhat common and fascinating little species. It completes the life cycle on grasses. It is found from Texas to Argentina, covering most of the warm places on the American continent. Amazing. That, my friend, is awesome.
It was nasty to see all the mites on it. I'm surprised the butterfly turned out well, if not for one broken hind wing tail. But that's a minor price to pay for free food and shelter. We managed to raise it. Thing is, parasites in the tropical rainforest can be pretty intense and freaky sometimes. Speaking of freaky, these are really alien.
Whoa, these are just devilish looking larvae, aren't they? I think I know the butterfly they are going to transform into. Do my fans know? If so, leave a comment. Hint, they are feeding on a species of pipevine, a pretty toxic plant. The larvae store the toxins and become poisonous themselves. Chemical protection, baby. I found them in a natural reserve of Régua, of course, in Brazil. And before you know it, they pupated. I can't wait until the butterflies come out of these beauties. Alrighty, boys. Please become beautiful butterflies for me.
You won't be able to believe what emerged from those pupa.
Oh my god. A wasp! This, ladies and gentlemen, is a parasitoid wasp. Ichneummonid wasps inject their eggs in the larvae of other insects in some instances. The larval wasp then consumes the caterpillar from the inside and metamorphosizes into a wasp. Kind of like the chest bursters from the Alien movies. Sometimes larvae in the rainforest can carry parasites and the result is pretty crazy if you ask me. Have you guys ever found caterpillars with parasites inside of them? If so, leave a comment. Well, parasitoids and parasites stir a lot of negative feelings in people. They are important for the environment.
That's a shame, isn't it? What butterfly would they have turned into? I think they could have been the larvae of Batis polydamas maybe, or another Batis species. I wish I could have raised them to butterflies to really confirm their identity, but the parasite took over, unfortunately. I was lucky with finding a lot of butterfly caterpillars, but what about moths? Well, here's an interesting one for you. I was looking with a torch at night in the tropical rainforest when I found these white hairy little things. Caterpillars of what is clearly a species of moth. They seem to feed on bird of paradise flower of some sort. I think it was something from the ginger family. I raised it in captivity. Let me show you that.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would not be the sexy moth king himself if I did not come back at night to investigate this. Oh, I look so sexy right now. And I think I found the culprit, because at night the caterpillars like to come out in Brazil. So when we turn around the leaf, here is our obvious culprit. Oops. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when you're in a rainforest, Don't touch random caterpillars because some of them can be dangerous. But I know as a matter of fact that these ones are not dangerous. Therefore I'm going to collect and rear some of them and expose the species that they are. Are you excited?
I decided to raise these hairy white cumlords. I fed them leaves of the plant they were resting on. Can't be too difficult to rear, I imagine. What's really cool is their feathery and unusual hairs. They are incredibly fluffy. They have bleached blonde hair. They look like they could win an election, but then run the country into the ground. But hey, that's what you get if your voter base has become degenerate cattle, after you cut all the funding to education. Then they start voting based on what they think are traditional values while being milked by an obviously globalist billionaire, typical for a subhuman society that masks its moral transgressions under a very transparent facade of traditional conservative values. Anyway, enough about the gerontocracy and more about moths. I did a lot of effort to raise them, and they eventually cocooned.
It's time, I'm a daddy. Some moths have hatched from our caterpillars. And I'm very curious to see what species we had all along. Let's take a look, I'm excited.
So the white woolly caterpillars who are feeding on bromeliads have turned into moths, and the result is fascinating. They're these tiny black wasp-like moths. Arctid moths they are, from the tiger moth group, the Arctinae. And they're quite beautiful, eh? It's interesting how such a white fuzzy caterpillar turns into something so dark. The antennae are very cute, very feathered. Look at that. It's very nice to collect data on this species.
So what the heck is this? It's called a banana stowaway, Antigloria epiphyia. They feed on palms, bromeliads and members of the ginger family, like bird of paradise flowers. They also often use banana tree. This is why they are called the banana stowaway. Sometimes the cocoons are accidentally transported with shipments of bananas. Despite being a minor pest, the moths are amazingly beautiful. They are black and sort of wasp-like. They also have beautiful subtle metallic coloring. It is found in various South American countries.
I have another larva to show as well.
Next one is really cool. Caterpillar, moth, life cycle. We know the concept. Let me show you.
Whoa, isn't that one amazing caterpillar? Observant people will say this. Hey, doesn't that look like a fruit-piercing moth species? Well, you would be absolutely right if you notice the similarity. It is a small relative of the fruit-piercing moths. A dwarf species, if you will. The larva was feeding on annona, something related to soursop. Oh boy, I am excited to raise it. Honestly, the larva is just spectacular. The caterpillar then pupated. I incubate the pupa, and then there appeared to be
It turned into a moth very quickly.
Agonodonta fulvangulata. Yes, this is a tiny species of fruit-piercing moth from South America. In fact, there are many species of Gonodonta, it's just one of the many of them. It does a good job of pretending to be dead too. What a cutie. Let's move on to the next one.
Sometimes when I'm walking around, filming stuff on YouTube, I make these outdoor videos. It's called nature vlogs. Well, sometimes in those videos you can see me collecting caterpillars. It kind of looks like this.
Oh, I am not just an influencer, I'm also an entomologist and I study the life cycles of moths and butterflies here in southeastern Brazil. And this looks like typical caterpillar feeding damage. It is an Inga plant from the Fabaceae family, and Inga plants are commonly eaten by caterpillars. If we turn this around, ooh, look at that. We've revealed ourselves the larva of a tiger moth species that's eating this leaf. And just look at how fantastic the caterpillar is. It's super colorful. Ooh, those breeding this in captivity would be fantastic, right? Look at that. Beautiful. Wow, those hairs make it really beautiful. I think some caterpillars are prettier than the moths or butterflies they turn into. This one is not dangerous, but a disclaimer, guys, please don't touch random caterpillars in the rainforest. It can be dangerous. In this case, however, oops, almost knocked down the camera. I'm going to collect it. Thankfully in my bag I have some sample jars, so I'm going to see what butterfly or moth this turns into. It's gonna be a moth, a tiger moth. Spoiler alert. Funny thing is, the caterpillars of some species in this area are still unknown to science. So by raising the caterpillars, you can actually discover new things to science here in the rainforest.
And when I do this, I actually raise these caterpillars behind the scenes. But I don't show the result in the same video, because this process can take months or weeks. And I'm not gonna save the footage for that long to release to my fans. So I make videos like these to show you the result of some of these rearings. So if you're impatient about some of the caterpillars that you see in my videos, this is finally what happened when I reared them.
Alright, another strange anonymous one. Raising random caterpillars that you find crawling around is one amazing way to get to know your local species of moths and butterflies. Sometimes you can see me find caterpillars in some of my outdoor videos. Behind the scenes I actually do rear them. Very interesting. So it cocooned and turned into a moth. This right here is a moth from the genus Eucerio. They are very hard to identify sometimes because there are honestly a lot of similar species in tropical America. These species tend to have brightly colored and red abdomens. Not always, but definitely in many cases. How wonderful.
Another caterpillar, another moth? Let's go.
I found a larva of a noctuid moth feeding on erythrina or coral tree. Interesting. It appears to be some type of an owlet moth. It was feeding quite well, so I decided to rear the grey darn thing. You never know what it may metamorphosize into. Well, then it pupated. Here's a shot of the pupa. After that it turned into, you never guessed it, a species of Spodoptera. I'm actually not so sure what species, it's difficult to identify. It's not exactly clear what one, but if you have any suggestions, please leave a comment. This one was found in the province of Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. I think it could be Spodoptera dolichos, am I right? I'm not sure if the location makes sense.
The life cycles of many of these species can be unknown to science, like literally unrecorded, undocumented. This can be very common in the tropical rainforest. And this is why I made my channel, to contribute more knowledge about these insects and also make them popular on the internet so more people...
Traveling is a luxury. It's expensive. A lot of people cannot afford it. I am kind of in a unique position of privilege in that way. And it's all thanks to you and my YouTube channel that I'm allowed to do silly stuff, that I can travel the world just to film insects. Not people are in that position. And not only have I been to Brazil, I have recently been to the African country of Uganda. If you're a fan of my channel who watches most of my uploads, you've seen these videos where I am in Uganda. I show you the wildlife, the surroundings, and of course the butterflies and moths that we managed to find. And behind the scenes I also managed to rear some caterpillars. So now let me show you some species from Uganda. The first one had a really crazy caterpillar.
As far as big tropical forests go, this is actually an open clearing. So we're not even in the rainforest yet. This is more farmlands. That used to be rainforest, but there's still some wildlife. But it looks like Glenn and Zed have found something, so we're gonna check it out. He called me over. So in the back, this is eucalyptus plantations. They plant them for hardwood, so a lot of it is farmland. Okay, let's see. What have you guys found? I'm filming you, by the way, just so you know. You don't mind? What did you...
No, it's a caterpillar.
A caterpillar?
Yes.
Really?
There's a few of them, but you can't touch them.
I can't touch them? Oh my gosh! No, these are not dangerous.
Not dangerous?
No, they have... Oh, look at those cute spines. They flail about. On what plant did you find them?
What it's
This
on?
one.
On this one?
Yeah.
Whoa!
This one.
Grass?
Yeah, it's a grass, kind of grass.
Maybe we can raise them. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna...
Yep.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen. First vlog in Africa, in Uganda. And we already found one very fascinating little caterpillar. As you can see, it has these flails that it moves around. Very fascinating. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea what moth this becomes, but we're gonna find out. Hopefully. Picked some of the leaves that people said they found it on, so I hope it's the host plant. Get back in your container so we can raise you into a moth. It's one of the reasons I like to travel, also to do research and see the life cycles of butterflies and moths. There we go.
That's really cool, right? Have you ever seen such unusual caterpillars with moving components? Well, actually we have before on my channel, but not this species. Really cool, and I can finally show the life cycle, because the moth it turned into was also really fascinating. That is one most excellent caterpillar. Fantastic. What a highly unusual creature. It seems to flail the hair structures around. Perhaps in order to provide a visual distraction of sorts. It appears that they feed on a plant named Pretty-Eyed Susan or Thunbergia. I'm sure all of you are just as curious as I am to find out what kind of moth they metamorphosize into. I do not think many people have reared this one, to be honest. Fascinating. And then one day the moths pupated. They even left behind their empty skin with the strange hair structures on it. What to do with these pupae? We wait, of course, until a moth comes out. Let's take good care of them. Here it is, folks. It turned into a species of Ranidophora. What species precisely is difficult to identify, but certainly one of the many species. Do you have a species suggestion? If so, please leave a comment. These are rabbit moths, even related to fruit-piercing moths, for example. Not many people have reared these amazing beauties in captivity. Yo, so cool. That's right, folks. It turned into Ranidophora. If you ask me, they are really unusual, highly unusual. I'm very happy to have reared that. This is the larva of one crazy tiger moth from the Ugandan rainforest. Oh my. What species is it going to turn into? Find out today. It was easy to rear on various plants. As it grew bigger, under a certain angle and lighting, it had sparkly blue tubercules on its back. Look at this beautiful hairy bastard.
It is very likely that this life cycle has never been documented before. Once again. But identifying the moths can be hard in some cases. It was found in Mabira forest in Uganda. And then it pupated. Let's wait patiently for the moth to come out. The moth was a still unidentified species of Alpanus. It's very closely related to Spilosoma. Genetic testing may reveal its identity going forward in the future.
I also found a caterpillar of an unknown tiger moth. I reared it to the best of my ability and it metamorphosized. I'll show you that. In Uganda there is also a genus of tussock moths that is very common. It is called the genus Ep.1. And I am mad enough, I'm crazy in my head, because the caterpillars are really toxic and itchy, venomous. But I still want to document their life cycles and life histories, even though they are very venomous and irritating larvae. I managed to raise 2 species and I think these life cycles could be new to science. But they are yet unnamed, I still have to do a bit more research. So here is the first species.
These tiny things are the larvae of a somewhat unknown species of Ep.1 from Uganda. I reared them in captive indoor settings. They developed themselves slowly and surely on a wide array of plants, including prunus. The caterpillars were also very itchy to the touch, especially as they grew bigger. Yeah, Ep.1 species do kind of fascinate me, I must admit. Many of their life cycles are in fact undocumented, especially for tropical species. So there is that. The species seems to be eating a very large variety of food plants.
Seems one of them has even pupated without making a full cocoon. What a cute little pupa it has, doesn't it? Oh yeah, I'm starting to feel the itching now. Not as bad as the other species, but still quite strong.
Very, very cute, very adorable species if you ask me. I am utterly and totally fascinated by them. It is unknown what species they are precisely. Genetic testing is going to determine their identity later into the future. So for now, Ep.1 is the only determination I can give. Yes, this is the second Ep.1 species. Interesting. I'm not sure what species they are yet, but once again we're gonna find out with DNA tests later. Just give me the time to arrange it, folks. Just give me the time. Hope you do find them as cute as I do. Amazing what you can find in tropical rainforests. Interestingly, a few months later, after having many males, I also had one single female, and the female looked totally different.
And then there was also a second species of Ep.1 I managed to document the life cycle of. This is still unpublished stuff, guys. I'm still working on several articles behind the scenes that are going to be published in the coming years, with life cycles totally new to science. But writing peer-reviewed articles can take a long time, while publishing a YouTube video only takes a few days. So my videos are out more quickly than the papers I'm working on. Still, let me show you them.
Can you believe that I'm once again raising some itchy guys from Uganda? I know what to do. I've raised dozens, if not hundreds of species, so we're gonna go through the process. They seem to be quite social, and I just find social behavior in caterpillars absolutely adorable. Just look how they hug and cuddle each other in one big swarm. Awesome! As they gradually got bigger and bigger, I tried to identify the caterpillars, but I couldn't really find any reference or any other pictures of any similar caterpillars. This could mean that also this life cycle is unknown to science. I like to raise random species sometimes just to investigate their life cycles, just to see if it will pay off. I did know that these were absolutely a genus, a species of Ep.1, of course, as I've discussed before. The caterpillars do have a similar morphology. I raised them on stuff like cherry, oak tree and willow, and honestly they were willing to eat dozens of different plants. So that's really great news. When they were fully grown they became a little bit more solitary. In the beginning they all lived together in one giant group or swarm, but at the end they dispersed and became slightly more lonely. Then eventually, this is the fully grown caterpillar you're currently looking at, but eventually all of them made cocoons. The cocoons were covered with itchy hairs, but then the moths came out. They were very cute.
Moths it turned into were super cute. Well, folks, we have to admit it. For as horrible as the caterpillars are, the moths, they have their charisma, don't they? Like, geez. They are seriously one of the cutest moths I've raised, seriously. Look at there. Yellow fluff. You cannot argue with the yellow fluff. It is adorable. Yellow fluff. Oh, so cute. Gosh. If only they weren't the most venomous caterpillars I've raised in years.
Absolutely adorable. This marks the end of this video in which we raised dozens of species. It was another unknown Ep.1 species from Uganda. We're gonna use some DNA testing to find out its real identity soon. If you want to see the result of that, you may better want to subscribe to this channel. And these are the males. The males are slightly different from the females, even though the difference is hard to see. Females are slightly bigger and have an abdomen that's covered with hairs. Absolutely cute. They have a banana custard kind of coloring. So cute. And yes, if you see those hairs, they really feel as soft as they look, like a plushy animal. This is a female, and as you can see on their abdomen, there's defensive hairs. When they lay eggs, they will cover the eggs with their hairs, in order to add a protective layer. Fascinating. I'm really happy that there's people watching me on YouTube, showing you how to raise and how I've raised all these unusual insects and their perhaps never before documented life cycles. Wow, that was another cool species, wasn't it?
And that was all. For now. Because I'm working on a lot more behind the scenes. I travel a lot lately. I went to many countries and I will keep going. You never know what country I'm gonna visit next.